Hello everyone and welcome to another car review. So if you're in the market looking for an affordable MPV that is practical, spacious, simple to use, and not just that, it's super reliable, then this 2023 Toyota Veloz could be the car for you. So in today's video, we're going to be finding out everything in detail about this newly launched Toyota Veloz. But before we move forward, please consider subscribing to my channel by clicking that red subscription button and make sure to press the bell icon, leave all the notifications on, so that way you will never miss any video updates from my channel. Gosh, it's a pretty windy day today. Now at the start of this video, I had mentioned the word affordable MPV. So let me get back straight to the price point, because this Toyota Veloz will cost you 79,900 dirhams, and this completely spec'd up Veloz, by the way, and not just like, you know, the base version or anything. So I want to make sure that you keep this price point in mind and see what are things you get on this Toyota Veloz. So let me start off from the front. You get this glossy black grille out here in this sort of triangular shape out here with this Toyota chrome badging in here. At the bottom, normal slotted grille out here with this plastic one, and there are also slots in between in this grille out here for the extra bit of cooling onto the radiators. And on the sides you get this chrome strip in this sort of star shaped out here, 3-spoked one, and there's also more chrome strip that continues from the headlights and goes around onto the other side, and also actually circulates around the car as well. At the bottom, the normal plastic bumper that has been given, and even at the bottom out here there's like a flap that has been given. I don't know, it's for the stability of the vehicle so that the air doesn't go in and make the car a little, you know, just, yeah, sliding around. So probably for that reason, so it's to stop the flow of air at the bottom. And out here you would find the fog lamps. Around that there are plastic inserts. So these fog lights are the normal halogen fog lights. When you come to these headlights, this is an LED headlight cluster. You get completely LED out here. Even the turn signals are LED, and there's also a chrome strip inside this headlight cluster as well. And on the inside, I usually go into the drive and then show you, but let me tell you what you get on the inside. Under this hood you get a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder engine that produces 105 horsepower, and it's coupled to a CVT transmission. Now this Toyota Veloz in real sense actually kind of replaces the Toyota Rush, and also it's nearly as long as the Toyota Innova, but yes, the price point is still way lower than the Innova. So once we continue on the sides, you get these arches out here in the same metal body itself. There are these lines that continue the bumper, and also on the side fender you get these 17-inch dual tone alloy rims out here. At the bottom there is black color skirting out here, and as I mentioned, there is this chrome strip that continues from one end to the other, and it circulates the entire car out here. And when you come to these side mirrors, these are power foldable, power adjustable side mirrors. They don't have the blind spot warning or no 360-degree camera or anything, but they have the turning light inside of them. And when you come to these doors, these are smart keyless entry door handles, and they make this noise, by the way, if you just try to touch that sensor out here. So it just beeps and bongs. By the way, this car actually beeps and bongs a lot of warnings, and you know, touch whatever you touch on your infotainment screen. So I'm going to come to that as well. There are also these body colored roof rails as well, and notice these, you know, long windows out here. This car actually is pretty spacious from inside. It makes it super airy from inside because of these longer and taller windows out here, and even for the third row there are bigger ones as well. And out here you would get this arching out here, plastic arches which are given on top of your metal body, and then there are lots of lines which are flowing in the side profile. As you can see, there's this thick shoulder line that goes on top. There are more lines at the bottom, subtle ones, and even more harder lines out here and on these arches as well. And even on the fuel cap itself, they've given a cutout on these tail lights that extend onto the side profile. So yeah, even in the back you get the 17-inch alloy rims, and you get a front wheel drive system on this Toyota Veloz. Now in the rear of the Veloz you would again find a lot of lines, creases and curves that are given. So there's one out here near this boot door, there's this tail light, and then there is this bumper that sharply merges with the rear. And even at the bottom there are these lines that continue on the bumper as well. So you get this plastic trim. This is like a reflector strip that has been given with this normal plastic surround around that one, and you get this combination of LED and halogen tail light cluster. There's this light bar, and it's actually a functional light bar that has been given on this Veloz as well. Again, the Veloz badging in the chrome, the Toyota badging in chrome, and there is a bit of a spoiler that sometimes feels like it's missing out here, because when you look at this surface, you feel like there will be like a spoiler out there. At the bottom there is this fog light which has been given, which is covered around with this normal plastic, and the exhaust is on the other side. There are parking sensors which are given out here, and in terms of the rear visibility, it's actually pretty decent. You get good amount of road surface that you can see, the lanes and everything from this rear. And also the rear tire is mounted underneath this bumper, and when you come to the boot space, when you open the boot door, you have to give this boot door a little bit of a push, because it's pretty heavy. And so when the rear seats, which is the third row of seats, which are folded up, you can put 137 liters of luggage in the bag. There are also scuff plates which are given out here. There's more storage space, slightly like a slotted one, which is given at the bottom of it. There's this spare tire cover, so it's a bit I'll just leave it there. And the third row of seats are foldable in a ratio of 50:50. So you just pull this string out here, and you can easily fold down these third row of seats. When the third row of seats are folded down, you can put 498 liters of luggage. And then this MPV actually now sounds a lot more useful, because you have 5 seats and a lot of cargo space that you can utilize out here. There's a bit of a step here, but they've covered it with this carpet lining, so you can easily slide your luggage in and out. There's no lip or anything out here, and there are no tying points or anything as such which are given. There's just one boot light that has been given. Now the second row of seat is foldable in a ratio of 60:40, which you can fold from here. It's actually 40:20:40, but that bit in the center you can drop it down from here only. So let me show you that. So like this, you can just drop them off, or you can fold down the seats. I'm just going to fold one of them. And when you fold down the second row of seat, there is very big space that you can utilize, especially for a car this size. And there is a bit of a step in here, but I mean, it's all right. You can still easily slide your luggage. There's also 112 volt power socket that has been given out here, that is actually for the third row of passenger, but you can even utilize it to clean your boot space out here in the back. And then when you want to close the boot door, you have to just give this door a little bit of a push in order to close it. Now an MPV is something that is most of the time going to be used as a daily driver, and it's going to be used for a lot of things, to drop your kids or to ferry your family around, or to go for a grocery run, and a lot of things. So you need the car to be a lot more spacious, and also it has to be simple so that you can just jump in and just drive very easily. So one good thing is that the Toyota Veloz in that sense is very easy to use. You just get in and everything is just ready to just start the car and just driving it off. So let me start off with the material quality. You get plastic dashboard out here, even out here it's plastic. The door cards are plastic. Everywhere else is plastic. Where are going to be resting hands, that's just leather covered soft touch. There's also this carbon fiber plastic trim that has been given near the door handles to make it feel a little more sportier out here. And there's this again leather covered on the side, so if you bang your head, it's going to be a little more easier. And there's also the Veloz badging that has been given out here. There's this glossy plastic around this air conditioning controls, normal plastic around this infotainment screen. Your steering wheel is leather covered, and out here again soft touch material, leather covered handrest that has been given. So it's more for the ruggedness and the durability also of the car. So the dashboard and all would last longer, and also it's a usable dashboard, so you can put your stuff in there, and then you can utilize something like a paper or a book or something. It wouldn't fall off or jump off from here. So that's one use of this dashboard. And there are also mood lights which are given out here in the driver and the passenger side door cards, and also out here in the center console out here. So yeah, those lights can be switched on and off from this infotainment screen from the settings inside. When it comes to the driver's display, there is a digital driver's display that you get on this Toyota Veloz, and the brightness of that is pretty alright. There is a bit of a glare sometimes, that's the only thing. But on your right side you would find the speedometer and your fuel gauge, which is a fixed one, and on the left side you can change a lot more things, and even in the center your information. So that information can be changed from the buttons which are given on your steering wheel. So you can see your car information like your current fuel economy, average, the range, and then you go to your right side, you can see the vehicle settings in which you can see your clock, or you can leave it blank, then your warnings or messages, and then there is a detailed settings in which you can adjust the display brightness, and then you can go back, then time and date, and then designs is something where you can change the design of this, the cluster on the left side, that you can have like 4 different designs which are given out here. So currently I'm on display 4, you can go into display 3, display 2, or you can even go to display 1. So it's got those fancy rev counters that you can change it to, then more display buzzer, vehicle settings, maintenance settings, oil, reset, and language that has been given. So yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of the use of this driver's display. So yeah, that's alright, and I like it because it's pretty easier, and it's also got a bit of an animation when you start the screen or switch the car off. So yeah, on the whole it's ample and sufficient for day-to-day use. Now when it comes to the steering wheel, this is a leather covered steering wheel, and it's also got this white stitching out here, and then this sort of silver color aluminum kind of plastic trim that has been given with this texture, and then glossy plastic around it. And on the right side you would find the controls for your infotainment control, and also a drive button, which is your power, different power modes that are given. So you press it once, it goes into the power mode, which is like a sport mode, and then you long press it, it goes into the eco mode, or you just long press again and then the car goes into the normal drive mode. And on the left side you would find the buttons for your adjustment of your driver's display, all the information that you see. The trip button at the bottom, there is a trip button, so you can change the trip and see, and then the volume buttons given at the bottom. There are no paddle shifters or anything, anyways it's called a CVT transmission. Apart from that, there's also no cruise control that has been given on this Toyota Veloz, so that is something to make a point of. And this steering wheel is also adjustable, which is your tilt and telescopic, so that's one good thing, which is this is what you need in terms of the adjustability for day-to-day use, so that's a good thing. Now when it comes to the air conditioning control, straightforward button operated air conditioning system has been given, and you get dual zone air conditioning system. So the single zone is out here for the driver and the passenger, and the other zone is for the second and the third row passenger. Now going to come to that, the controls are mounted on the roof. So in the front out here, there's straightforward on and off button, and then you just use this dial to switch on the AC, which is also your fan dial, to control the fan speed. And then on the right side there is temperature, so you just turn this dial and adjust the temperature out here. And then at the bottom there is adjustment for the flow of air, your mode, the recirculation of air, and all that button that has been given. So yes, that's about it. You are done with your air conditioning controls, and that's one good thing, because Toyota tends to stick to these buttons, and that's a good thing. So which is why I said you just jump in and then the car is pretty familiar to you already. Now when it comes to this infotainment screen, this is a 7-inch TFT touchscreen which has been given. Now that's the only thing which bothers me a little bit, because it could have been a little bit an LED kind of screen they would have given, which would have looked nicer, because on sometimes during broad daylight it tends to have a lot of glare, and the colors are all washed out that way, and it's not the crisp of display that way. So you can, and then there is this one more thing, as I mentioned, that the car makes a lot of beeps and bongs. So here, and when I go into some settings and and then I come back, so all these beeps and bongs, you can change it from the settings from the infotainment screen. But on your main screen you would have a widget for your media controls and also your connectivity options. So in terms of the connectivity, you can connect to this infotainment system using the Bluetooth. There is also the USB, and there is also the wired Apple CarPlay, but no Android Autos. But if you have the Apple CarPlay, you can even use your Google Maps in here, so your maps is sorted out. And then you drop down this menu, and then there is the setting button, Bluetooth, display, and power button. You go into the setting, then you can see your system settings, your audio, your display, and your Bluetooth settings. So that's about it. That's all you need to know about this infotainment system, and it's pretty straightforward. And there is also these buttons for your volume, which are a little bit of a reach out here. Instead of knob would have been nicer. There are also buttons given on your steering wheel, so you're fine. But yeah, big buttons for your home, back, and these two buttons which are given. Now in terms of the charging, you get one USB port which is given out here on the passenger side. There is also one more USB port which is given. It's also for the connectivity to the Apple CarPlay, so that's been given out here. There's also one 12-volt power socket which has been given in this center armrest, and there's also a wireless charger which has been given. There are also two more USB ports which are given for the second row of passenger, and as I mentioned, there is one more 12-volt power socket for the third row of passenger. Now on this Toyota Veloz, you don't get a sunroof or anything, but you also get an SOS button which is for the emergency purposes. So if you have an accident or if you have medical emergency, you can press that and help will be sent your way. In terms of the storage, you can put about 1 liter worth of bottle in the door cards and some more storage on the sides. There is also this wireless charger that you can utilize to put your wallets and phones, of course, and there is also this glove box that has been given. There is also this center armrest in which you can put your wallets and phones. But if you're wondering where the cup holders are, that's where the clever bit has gone. Now there's this one cup holder which is given on the driver's side, which also has this air conditioning vent. So if you want to keep your drinks cooler, you can do that. And not just that, that cup holder is just the standard one, not flexible or anything, but it's also got a slot, so you can put your phones in there and you can even use it as a phone holder. Now that's one of the brilliant features on this Toyota Veloz, and I really like it. And not just that, there's also one more cup holder that's slides out on the passenger side, and that is a flexible one, so that you can utilize, and if you don't want to use it, you can just put it back in. I mean, why don't other manufacturers just do this? Because it's such a clever thing, and you don't have to dedicated, give two cup holders out here, but instead this is right out there, and you can even keep your drinks cool. I mean, that's really smart, and I really like this idea that Toyota has put. And there are two more slots which are given in this center console, so if the driver side or the passenger side wants to charge their phone, they can leave the phones in there, so while they are charging, they are out of your way. Now when you come to the seats, on this Toyota Veloz, you get a mixture of fabric and leather seats that has been given on this one. And to be honest, I'm glad these are fabric seats, because during summers they are not going to get heated, even though they are black color. But boy, in terms of the comfort, they are even more comfortable than the leather seats. And the leather strips are just on the sides, that's the only thing on the side bits, but we are going to be essentially resting your body. That's all fabric, and it's also got this white color fabric material on the side, at the bottom, and even at the backrest as well. And in terms of the adjustability, both the driver and the passenger side seat is manually adjustable. Again, I'm happy that it's just manually adjustable, because it makes life so much more easier, because you can just easily slide your seats, front and back, and then adjust the backrest and everything. But the only annoying bit is that if you want to go down, you have to press this lever, and there's this lever if you want to go up. Let me go up. If you want to raise the seat, it takes a little while and a bit of your strength of your arms, so that's the only thing. But still, nonetheless, it's very simple and straightforward in terms of the seat usage. And also these seats provide ample of support for the longer journeys, especially because they are fabric seats. They are softer as well, and underneath the thigh also there's decent amount of support which has been given. Now in the second row of seat, again you get these mixture of leather and fabric seats that are given out here. The center bit is all fabric and the edges are all leather, while in the center where the middle passenger is going to be sitting, that's again all covered in black color leather. But again, the softness levels are really rather nicer. The seats are slightly lower, but I still don't mind, because they are quite comfortable that way, and there is decent amount of under thigh support as well. And in terms of my legs, I can slide the legs underneath the seat also to get that extra bit of room during the longer journeys. But in terms of the knee room, there is decent amount of knee room that you get, about like one full palm worth of knee room that I get out here. And also these seats are curved, which is why you get that extra bit of knee room. And also the headroom is pretty decent. Someone about 6 feet will still be able to sit quite easily out here. 6 feet 2 inch, 3 inches, yeah, so it's going to be fine in here and not just about brush their heads out here on the ceiling. So that's again a good thing. So overall, yes, in terms of the seat arrangement out here, it's pretty nice. And not just that, the seats on both sides are also slidable, so you can provide extra bit of room for the third row of passenger. So yeah, again, that's one more clever feature that has been given. Now in terms of the air conditioning control, as I mentioned, there is a completely separate air conditioning system that has been given out here for the second and actually the third row of passengers. So the dial is given out here on the roof, so you switch it on and yeah, you switch on the air conditioning control. There are vents given on either side for the second row, and not just that, there are these flaps which are given, so in order to make sure I think the air falls on you, so for that reason these flaps are given. So you adjust these flaps and you can basically direct the air to flow near your legs or maybe on your face, or you just, if you completely fold them away, then the entire second and the third row would be cooled. So yeah, that's the purpose. I'm guessing it's what it is. Let me know in the comment section below what do you think about these flaps. At first I was very confused, but then I sort of figured it out. In terms of the material quality, you get the same plastic covered door cards out here, and then where you're going to be resting hands, that's just leather covered soft touch. But otherwise, yeah, everything else is just plastic. Even at the bottom it's just plastic, and there is this one cup holder which is given out here in the door cards. And in terms of the storage, you can put about 1 liter water bottle in the door cards and some more storage on the sides, and same goes for the other side. But if you're the middle passenger, there's a bit of a tunnel that has been given out here, but not too much that will hinder the middle passenger. So when someone is sat in the middle, again, there is ample of space, so the middle passenger can sit out here as well and spread their legs as well. And there is also one more cup holder which is given for the middle passenger, and that's given in this center armrest. So you open and yeah, you can utilize that as well. Again, I mean, it's really clever thinking from Toyota that they can accommodate 3 cup holders in here without having to sacrifice any of the space. So yeah, they utilize every inch of space that is available on this Veloz. Now there is no center armrest or anything, but still you can just fold down this center bit, and when there is no passenger you can utilize that because it's got the soft touch material. So there are no cup holders in here, so you can just utilize it as a handrest, and it's also at decent height too. So yeah, overall it's a pretty spacious and a comfortable second row of seat. Now let's jump on to the third row and see how things are for the third row of passenger. Now in the third row, things are definitely a bit tight, as you can make out from how I am sitting. There is not much knee room, but the headroom is about fine. Someone about 6 foot may start brushing their heads against the ceiling, although the seats are soft, so which is why it's not hurting my knees anymore. But yeah, these, as I mentioned, these second row of seats are slidable, so let me slide them a little ahead. And now yes, there's definitely now enough of space for the second as well as the third row of passenger. And not just that, now the knee room is just about this much, so yeah, that's one good thing. And the seats again are like completely fabric in here, no leather anything, so they are divided in 50:50 in terms of the foldable seats. So yeah, these seats are still way comfortable otherwise. And in terms of the seating position, it's definitely much more comfortable than a lot of other SUVs, bigger SUVs, which are like those 7-seaters or 8-seaters where you sit there and you're like sitting right on the floor. But on this one you wouldn't feel like that, even though you can see it's still yeah, my thighs are not that supported, but I'm not sitting way too low down, so that's one good thing. And then yeah, this air conditioning vents, now I see why they've been placed like that. It's putting the air onto my face, again, good thing for the summers. Whereas in terms of the storage, you can have about like a storage out here on either side of both the passengers. There's also one more slot on either side that has been given where you can put your phones, and then there are these windows which definitely make it a bit more airier in the third row. And also, as I mentioned, the second row windows are humongous, and that makes the whole cabin feel super spacious in here. And also the backrest is adjustable, so you can either recline it or it's a bit, yeah, you see, you can make it upright, so you have a little bit of extra cargo space. Or when there is no cargo in the back, then you can just slide them behind, and it's actually a nicer angle that they make. So overall, these third row of seats are definitely nicer, and especially for this price point and for this MPV, yeah, they are a great bit of an addition. Definitely 7 people can fit into this car. And not just that, in order to come out of the third row of seat, in order to fold the second row of seat, is just so simple. It's just one single lever which you press and then fold these seats away, and then you can easily come out of the car. And coming in and out of the car is also rather nicer because the opening is pretty big that way, so you can easily come in and get out of this Toyota Veloz. Now let me begin this drive test by first doing a reverse, because again there is a bit of a surprise in there. So when I put the car in reverse, it beeps, and this is non-stop, so I cannot even switch it off. It just, yeah, I mean, I get it, it's all for safety and purposes like that, but yeah, you don't have to beep it. And then you get a single camera reversing system. The output from that is kind of alright. It's a bit washed out, and yeah, it's not too crisp, and it's just ample for, yeah, like if you want to reverse and you want to see what objects are behind. But now on this Toyota Veloz, you get a 1.5 liter DOHC 4-cylinder 16 valve engine that produces 105 horsepower and 138 Newton meters of torque. And this engine is mated to a CVT transmission, which is why you will get an efficiency which is pretty unlike for an MPV, but I'm going to come to that. But first, in terms of the engine and the transmission, yeah, because it's a CVT, it's going to growl when you try to accelerate, and the engine is a 1.5 liter tiny one, so it gets stressed out. It's the non-turbocharged engine, so yeah, it takes a little while to accelerate. But I get it, it's all for a budget purposes, but then something in order to improve on the engine department would be nicer. Maybe a 2 liter engine or a 1.5 liter turbocharged would have made more sense, because yeah, that's the only thing, and I actually mean that's the only thing that just holds this car back. But it doesn't hold it back, but it's still not a deal breaker for sure, because this engine is kind of alright for day-to-day use, because clubbed with this CVT you get an efficiency of anywhere between 14 to 15 kilometers per liter on a day-to-day basis. 14 to 15, and the claimed is 19.3, which you can definitely reach closer to if you're going on a longer journeys. And this has like a 43 liter tank, so I mean it's doable, yes, which is what you get the advantage of in terms of, you know, having a smaller engine. But then the only thing is, if you want to accelerate, yeah, it takes a little while to move. So there are like a couple of drive modes also, like actually 3 drive modes. So one is the eco, then there is the normal, which I am on, and then there is the power. So in the power mode, all it does is it maps the throttle in a way that, actually let me put it, yeah, it maps the throttle in a way that it's more sensitive to your foot, so which is why you feel the acceleration is slightly quicker than the normal. So that's about it. Now when you come to the steering, it's a decent steering. There's a hydraulic one on this one, and the feedback from that is pretty good. It's light that way for day-to-day use, and it's decently pointy as well. There's good amount of feedback from the steering itself, and the turning radius on this one is actually surprisingly very small for a car this long and this big, which is what I was really impressed by. So parking is going to be quite easier on this Veloz. Now when you come to the suspensions, they are on the comfortable side, and there is just a bit of a roll, I would admit that, and let me show you by doing a slalom. But there's an interesting bit. So the moment you start doing a slalom, you see, can you hear that? So that's your vehicle stability that kicks in, and it tries to maintain the balance of the car. Now it's actually for the first time that I actually heard a vehicle stability control the car so much, and I'm actually glad that it works, because yeah, it was trying to control the car and make sure it doesn't get upset, you know, but when you turn it here and there, and yeah, that gives the car the stability while you are driving. But yeah, on a day like this, when there is like a very high wind gushing around, yeah, the car seems to be dancing a little bit, especially at the higher speeds. That's the only thing. But yeah, I'm again not complaining, because for what this car is and at what price this is, these are just pretty minor things, to be honest. Now when it comes to the noise and the vibration, that is just the noise of this engine and the CVT. When you overcome that, there is slight amount of wind whooshing which you will hear, and also some tire noise. But again, refinement is there. I mean, I'm not complaining. If there wasn't a windy day today, then this car is that way is pretty quiet, surprisingly. And for these taller windows which are given, that's pretty good that way in that department. In fact, it's actually doing very well on this windy day. It's just this engine and the CVT which is doing that. Now when you come to the brakes, there are 4 disc brakes on this Toyota Veloz, and let me do a 100 to 0 emergency brake test. There are emergency stop signals that kick in, but only when you are braking at that point of time, and then later on it just goes away. But the braking action is pretty spot on, and the brake pedal has a good travel to it, and I'm happy with the whole braking setup as well, because it's not too harsh and it's not too sensitive. Now when you come to the safety systems, you get a lot of safety systems on this Toyota Veloz. So you get 6 airbags, 2 for the front driver and the passenger, 2 curtain airbags again for the driver and the passenger. There are also child isofix points in both the rear seats. There is also a single camera reversing system, which I explained. There is also the vehicle stability, emergency stop signal. There is also the ABS. That way there is no cutback on the safety system, is what I'm trying to tell you, because it's at par with pretty much everyone, even though it's an MPV. Now when you come to the pricing, I had already mentioned the pricing at the start of the video. So the pricing for this Toyota Veloz GX is 79,900 dirhams, and there is only a single model, no fuss. Like, you get all this on a single model, and it's priced at 79,900 dirhams, full stop. And for this price, I mean, this is a bargain, to be honest, because yes, for an MPV, as I mentioned, it has to be practical, it has to be simple, it has to be useful, it has to be easier on a day-to-day basis, and this car actually does all of it. And it's also, let's be honest, efficient for day-to-day use, because these bigger cars tend to be quite heavy on fuel when you start giving a bigger engine. Although a little power would be nicer if there was, because then there will be much more fun driving this thing. But otherwise, it's still a refined machine what you get for that 79,900 dirhams. And for what this is, it's actually a segment shaker for sure, and you should definitely check this car out, because I'm pretty sure that most of you are going to be impressed with what it can do, especially with the amount of space that this car offers. And let's not forget, there is also the Toyota reliability, and for that you should definitely check this car out. Now that is it for this video. Give this video a thumbs up, and thank you for watching this video. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, then you can click here, and if you want to watch more videos, then click here. I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye, take care and stay safe.